Mm-hmm. Well, I can't hear you. We can't hear you.
What's up, everybody? It's Mr. 100K a day. And today, me and Aaron Brown going to be talking about Grand Slam track, sport betting on Grand Slam track, how everybody, fared, most of the athletes fared. Was it worth it to actually bet on Grand Slam track? And, is it a scam? Some people feel like, you have no chance of winning. Some people feel like you can win all the money. Just see how people fare. Me personally, I usually have a very high percentage of winning when it comes to sports betting on track and field because a lot of the times things are predictable. And I feel like I just know track and field enough to be able to accurately bet on it and to actually predict who's going to place where. Yeah, you got the anomalies out there, but for the most part, I feel like I can pretty much narrow this stuff down and knock it out the park. What you think, Aaron?
I agree, and I think it's pretty easy too, especially with track. Knowing the people, knowing how they perform typically, and just the odds makers not really knowing too much about it. I think it's like an easy win.
Right. So a lot of these dudes crashed my parlays out. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was very upset this weekend. A lot of people underperformed. Yeah, I got the theme song playing. My bad. You can hear me now, Clip and Brandon. Yeah, so yeah, man. A lot of these dudes crashed and burned, man. A lot of these dudes crashed and burned, messed up my parlays, messed up my straight up and down stuff. I only got like a couple of these things right, but it's early on. I feel like these people just running for the money, and I feel like once they work the bugs out, and once we get deeper into the season, a brother gonna be able to, really get down to the nitty gritty. Because I'm gonna go hard on Grand Slam track. I'm gonna do a bunch of a lot more penny parlays and things like that
Yeah,
and dime parlays and try to win that $1 million payout if I can. But for the most part, I'm gonna do 3 and 4 picks. Trying to do 10 and 12 picks, that's gonna be a losing thing most of the time. So I'm only gonna bet like a dime on that. What you think?
I agree. I feel like with the penny parlays, I think that's definitely the move, the way to go, because it's track anybody can win, especially early in the season. Everybody ain't in the right form. Everybody just out there freestyling for real. So anybody can literally win. We just seen from this last meet, like it was all the underdogs was winning. It wasn't too many races where the favorites was really winning. So I think that's definitely the way to go, and it's a way to get a lot of money.
Yeah, most definitely. So check this out, man. We're gonna look at Sunday. I have Sunday and some of the other days lined up as far as like the odds of what actually occurred and everything. So it's like all I'm gonna look at just some of the races we got. First, let's just look at the men's 100. Before the race, before everything kicked off with the men's 100, who did you have your thoughts would probably be the one who came out and won?
For the men's 100, I had Akeem Blake because he had just ran 10-0 at this track last week. He had ran 20.2 in the 200. I'm like, all right, so a week later, he'll probably be in a little bit better shape just from that one run. And so I was like, I easily got Akeem Blake. So I had him as a favorite. And then I had Oblique Seville like second if Akeem Blake sold. So I was like, either one of them will probably win it. I just couldn't choose which one. So I did parlays for both of them.
Right. So check this out. Just straight up heads up. Let's assume nobody didn't know parlay. This is on DraftKings now. The different sports books have different payouts. Sometimes they feel like Fred has a bigger odds and this person has another set of odds. If you go to FanDuel, if you go to Bet Rivers or things like that, everybody maybe have a different thing. So it's like, somebody, if we could bet on World Championships, I would hit for sure. The World Championships does come on the sports betting. We did it in 2022, 2023. It was all on it's all on there. You just gotta look for it. It comes up under athletics oftentimes. So look, before the Grand Slam track started, they had Fred Curley as minus 250, Oblique Seville is plus 350. Kenny Bednarek was plus 500. Now check this out, y'all. Y'all gonna see a constant theme during this stream, this video, that a lot of underdogs won at plus 500 or more. That means if you bet up $1,000 or even $100, you'll win 5 times the payout. If you bet $100, you would have won $500 just by betting on Kenny Bednarek because Kenny Bednarek subsequently won. But the reason why I knew Fred Curley wasn't gonna win, even though they had him as the minus 250 favorite, is because he got too much drama going on in his life. And not only got too much drama going on in his life, he also just ran 10.2 the week before and he didn't look good against some college kids. So I felt as if he had absolutely no chance of winning that. And I feel like the sports book DraftKings didn't really give him like accurate odds for a guy who's going through the stuff he's going through. What you think?
I agree. I felt when I seen the odds, I'm like, no way in hell Fred is the favorite. I'm not sure what they're basing it off of. Maybe Olympics or something. But what you did 7 months ago don't mean nothing right now, especially if you currently running right now. But yeah, seeing him, he went 10-2. You know, it was Ramadan. He had the situations he's going through in life. So yeah, it's really just no way like he would have even should have been a favorite. But
no way should have been a favorite.
That just goes to show they don't know what they're doing or know what they're really talking about, which is a good thing for people that's betting on it.
Right, most definitely. So, Ron, you just asked, is Grand Slam betting only on DraftKings? No, it was available on FanDuel, DraftKings, Bet Rivers, and many more, I'm sure. But those are the only ones that I paid attention to. So that means right here, with the odds being at minus, they had Fred at minus 250 going into the meet. So that means that if you would have bet $1,000 on Fred, you was potentially only going to be able to win $400 with a minus 250 odds on that. It would want you, so you're risking $1,000 to potentially win $400. Me personally, I said it before the race. I'm saying it now. Definitely wouldn't have bet on Fred. Fred would have been a very, very bad odds pick because I just didn't think he was in good shape. Ramadan, he looked skinny. When I saw him run and videos he's been posting, he looks malnourished. He's like one of them Ethiopian kids that you see on one of those Save the Kids commercials, infomercials. He definitely didn't look good. If I would have been kamikaze and I was really trying to really do something, I would have went for Oblique Seville. And because I felt like Oblique Seville was going to do something because he's Jamaican. They were in Jamaica. He usually runs well in Jamaica. Yeah. And I just couldn't see him going down there and just allowing dudes to just thrash him. He was plus 350. What you think? You think plus 350 would have been reasonable?
That's definitely reasonable. I think actually going into it, he probably should have been a favorite. Just based off his previous performances in Jamaica and how he typically looks early in the season. And I do think he probably will win the next race. You could tell that he was just a little off in the beginning of the race and like he just didn't have it all the way. But he damn near won the race, not even running a good race. So I think that was definitely a reasonable pick, especially plus 350. That's easy. I'm taking Oblique any day.
Right. And not only that, check this out. If you would have bet on Oblique Seville and he would have won, and he almost won. And actually, who won? Kenny Benerick, right?
Yeah, he ran 10:07. Oblique ran 10:08.
Right. So if you would have bet on Oblique Seville and he would have won, that would have got you a profit of $3,500. So with $1,000, it would have bet you would have made a profit of $3,500. So that's a reasonable payout. That's something I would have took. But with these odds, let's make sure we keep it 100. They have, other than Fred, everybody's considered to be the underdog.
Yeah.
Everybody considered to be the underdog. So I think in these particular circumstances, and I keep telling people this, because of the way they do track and field sports betting, it's better to bet on multiple underdogs. So because I knew that Fred was messed up, he looks skinny. Oblique Seville's at home. Kenny Benerick is always a dark horse. And Hakeem Blake is there too, and he's Jamaican. I would have bet on all three of these guys right here. I would have put $1,000 on each one of these guys. So no matter who wins, other than Fred Curley, between these three, I still profit. That's why I felt like, that's what I would have did. So even with Kenny Benerick winning, had you bet $1,000 on Oblique Seville and $1,000 on Kenny Benerick and $1,000 on Hakeem Blake, that's a $3,000 money going out. But when Kenny Benerick won, you would have won $5,000, which would have covered the other two that you lost. So I feel like that was definitely the most reasonable choice. Yeah, I think so too. Run it up, TP. Hakeem Blake was a reasonable contrarian pick too. I agree, but that's why you cover multiple people. You just can't just do one because you don't know what kind of person can pull a hamstring. People sometimes don't show up. It's so many things that can happen. Like I bet on Tamara Clark for the 200. She didn't even show up for the women's 200 final. I was like, what in the world?
Bro, they said Dina ran it. I didn't even see Dina Asher Smith in a forward or two.
She ran. She got rolled. She was like in lane 1 or something like that. Dina was in lane 1.
Man,
Dina got rolled. Yeah, Dina was rolled. And she ran like 23 something in the 200. Dina had a bad day. Dina definitely had a bad day. Yeah, Dina had a bad day. So just to look at how, they actually performed. So after all those odds was done, they had Fred at like he was just going to be the best thing since sliced bread. This is what ended up happening. This is what it turned into. So Kenny Benerick ended up winning. Yeah, Kenny Benerick ended up winning 10:07 Oblique Seville after all that was said and done, which I thought was just a trouble. I bet on Tamara Clark because Tamara Clark has a resume that she can go 22-4, 22-5. I didn't think those girls was going to run 22-3 or better. So once you bring a race down and the sports betting picks and track and field, they give like favorable odds for like the underdogs, really good odds. Once those times are slow, now you're getting into the range where now the Sawa Eaton Harrisons can win the 200. Yeah. Now the Tamara Clarks can win. Now the Jenny Prendinis can win. Now, if it was Sharika Jackson, Gabby Thomas, Elaine Thompson, and all these killers there, of course I'm not going to put no money on Tamara Clark because I know that the pace of the range of the race is going to be too far out of their lead. Oh, you like the Expecto, huh? Yeah. So that's why you can't, once you get into a certain range and you slow the race down, then you got bums who will come along and win and be successful.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I was definitely comfortable with putting Tamara Clark on that particular thing. So right here, like I said, I would have put Oblique Seville. He definitely was a reasonable pick. Fred Curley, he was, like I said, he was ranked the favorite. And look at where he finished, 10-3. He ran a time that many high school guys can run. That's what I'm saying. So we'll get to the 200 lady, y'all, but that's the 100. So the next one they had, let's just look at the next one they have on this one, was the men's 400. Who would you have said would have won the men's 400 just if you had to put your money on it and knowing what the odds was? Because this was the men's 400.
I had two parlays. I had Matthew Hudson Smith and Chris Bailey. I was like, Chris Bailey just ran 44.7, 44.6 indoor. I know a lot of these guys, they have ran these times, but they probably not in that shape right now because they ain't even opened up. And then I had Matthew Hudson Smith on one. I seen bro run last week, Texas Relay. He split 44.3 on a relay. So I'm like, either one of them could definitely win it. But I didn't give nobody else a chance.
You didn't give nobody else a chance. Okay.
Nah.
Okay. Well, I would have went for Matthew Hudson Smith. I definitely would have went for Matthew Hudson Smith because I felt like he was just more reasonable. He's tall, he's long, and I like what he did at the Olympics, even though he lost. But I would have put it on him. He was the favorite. That means, according to his DraftKings, he was minus 250. So if you would have bet $1,000 on Matthew Hudson Smith, that means you would potentially have won $400 had he won. So you'd have risked $1,000 to win $400. Personally, from a statistical standpoint, I would have bet on him. If I'm trying to really make some money, I wouldn't have bet on Matthew Hudson Smith. As a matter of fact, I would have definitely bet on my Zimbabwean. No, I'm sorry. Where are you from? He's not from South Africa. Where's he from?
Zambia.
He's Zambia. Zambia?
Yeah.
Missoula from Zambia?
He's from Zambia.
Okay, yeah. So I would have went with Missoula.
Bro, why wouldn't you have win with Chris Bailey? He just won the Indoor Worlds.
I don't like him because he messed me up on the anchor of the Indoor Worlds 2023 when I bet on him.
But he
got rolled on anchor and made me lose my parlay.
But he shook back 24 and 20. I say he shook back 24 and 25.
I still don't like the ninja. Once you do something bad for me,
bro, but
you gotta repay 10 times what you made me lose.
Bro, he plus 4,000 and just ran 44 mid indoor.
I know, man. I know, y'all. I know. And he ended up winning, y'all. So that's the crazy part. I didn't bet on him. And if I bet on Chris Bailey, I would have bet $1,000 on him. I would have made a $4,000 profit. But I also would have bet on Jareem Richards. He trained with Lance Brawlman. He got heart. And I felt like, that would have been a good cover. But I was mad at what Chris Bailey did in 2023. Was that last year? I think that may have been last year he did that. He got rolled on the anchor Indoor World.
Oh, yeah, Indoor. Yeah, it was last year.
Indoor Worlds, he got rolled on. I was mad as hell. I was like, man, all you got to do is hold on. All you got to do is hold on. Actually, that's when, because Noah Lyles was there. Wasn't Noah Lyles there?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
See, Noah really got them rolled.
What? He ran 40, he split 45, didn't he?
Yeah, he ran like 45-7, but that's about a 47 in the open. Come on now.
No, man, a lot of those dudes. What won the actual 400? If he split 45-7, didn't 45 win the open 400?
Yeah, like 45-0. Alexander Doom. That's the dude that ran Chris Bailey down. It was the 400 champion.
Man, I don't care. Chris Bailey was a hold on. All he had to do was hold on. That's all he had to do.
Man, you got this 44 guy behind you, and you this indoor. You got this indoor demon behind you, and he coming, bro. Ain't no stopping him. And he just won the 4, confidence through the roof.
Man, I don't know, man. I just didn't have no faith in the dude. But regardless of all that, Chris Bailey ended up winning. He was a plus 4,000. That man would have won you $4,000. 4-to-1 payout is definitely great payout. He ended up winning 44-34. So once again, here we are. Grand Slam track and field. Underdogs consistently win. And you can bet on multiple underdogs. Not in the parlay, but heads up. Multiple underdogs definitely would have got somebody. Because I would have bet on this. If I was crazy enough and he didn't have the information that I have now, I definitely would have at least covered Chris Bailey, understanding that he just ran well indoors. Vernon Norwood, I know that he's a perennial guy who's going to be always, bringing up the back, never really doing anything individually. And Matthew Hudson Smith and the Missoula guy, I definitely would have went for him from Zambia. Oh, and Jareem Richards. So I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I probably wouldn't have bet on this. Knowing what I know now, I probably wouldn't have bet on this because based on what happened with Chris Bailey last year, Indoor Worlds, Matthew Hudson Smith wouldn't have been a great payout for the money you done risking. Vernon Norwood is a choke artist. Jareem Richards, he fell off even in the last 100 meters at Olympics. So I would have left this alone.
Wait, so let's just say the next Grand Slam and it's the same lineup. Like, who you taking?
I gotta see how they perform in the month between. I gotta see how they. I can't just go out last Grand Slam. I gotta see
what if they don't run no races in between?
I'm going with Chris Bailey again. Plus 4,000. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I would do 3 bets on this. I would bet on Chris Bailey. I would bet on Matthew Hudson Smith, and I would also bet on the Botswana dude. I definitely wouldn't bet on Vernon Norwood, even though he got 3rd.
Yeah,
I definitely wouldn't bet on him.
See, honestly, I think the Botswana dude, I think he actually could have beat a lot of them. I think he's just so damn skinny and running in that wind cost him more than a lot of those guys. Like, bro, it's probably like 130 pounds.
Mm. Yeah. Whatever. I definitely I wouldn't have did it. But anyway, moving on to the men's 400 long hurdles. And this is an event I think that they should eliminate out of competition because I think they only put it in there just to please Sydney McLaughlin. Because never before, even now, recently, have I ever seen so much attention given to the 400-meter long hurdles. This is an event Grand Slam track definitely needs to eliminate out of the meet because it doesn't really have the depth of talent right now. You don't even have Rob Benjamin there. So Alexander Santos was minus 250. Who would you have bet on going into it, knowing what you know, knowing what you knew before the event?
It's just like Sid, really. Like the only logical bet you could make is Dos Santos.
Right.
The rest of them guys are just they stand no chance, honestly.
To be honest with you, yeah. So based upon the fact that Dos Santos was minus 250, I really wasn't going to make a lot of money betting at minus 250. You in the same situation you basically was in with the last thing I just said, with Matthew Hudson Smith being the favorite. Here you are, minus 250, and you bet $1,000, you only going to potentially make $400.
Yeah.
$400 if he win. He'll hit a hurdle. Remember, he got injured just a few years ago, so that wasn't really something I felt like would be logical in track and field. I would have just went ahead and passed up on it. Or I would have did like a penny parlay or a dime parlay and put an underdog on there. And if it hit, it hit. If it don't, I just lost a dime. So I definitely wouldn't have did that. The next one they have on DraftKings right here, and this is like a no-brainer right here. Was the women's 200. They had Gabby at minus $500. Who would you have bet on? Dina Ratchet-Smith, Price, Holmes, Saweetie Nasser, and the rest of those girls.
I bet on Nasser.
And you got Paulino down here.
I bet on Nasser. I don't know how they had Alexis Holmes, Nikisha Price, all of them above Nasser. I don't know how they did that. Nasser had just ran 22.4 after running 48. Now, granted, 22.4 is faster than damn near Alexis. She's faster than Alexis Holmes. I don't think she ever broke 23. Nikisha Price, her as well. So I put my bread on Nasser. I did bet on this. I said I think Nasser can beat the early season Gabby.
Yeah, Nasser didn't perform up to her potential. She was plus 6,000. You bet 1,000 on her, you'd have won $6,000. She didn't perform up to her potential. As a matter of fact, Nasser only went $22.99. $22.99. Gabby Thomas ended up winning $22.62. That was an easy race for Gabby. That was a jog in the park. She won by over 0.3 of a second. Yeah, I would have probably. But I did actually bet on Nasser because I felt like the time would be slow. I knew it would be windy, and I felt like Gabby typically, in my eyes, don't really blaze really fast times earlier in the season. She's really training, doing 400s, doing a lot of relays and stuff like that. Yeah. So it still was a blowout. Nasser herself said she didn't perform with the potential. It was only a minus 0.2 win. That minus 0.2 may not be a good indicator what the win really was because it could have been swirling.
Yeah.
So
facts.
Yeah, I believe the win was probably a lot more than that. But for the purpose of the win calculation gauge, that's what it came up to be. I would have bet on Saweetie Nasser. I would have lost it. And I did bet on Saweetie Nasser in a parlay, though, not heads up. But
yeah, same.
I would have did that.
Damn, Talitha Diggs, 23-3.
Yeah, Talitha Diggs, she performed horribly. She ran open 400 too, and that was just, she crashed and burned. That was just a complete, complete joke. She hasn't been doing well. Actually, she's never been really, that talented to me for real. She just got a little credit because she was young, but that's a different story. The next one we got on her is Sydney McLaughlin in the 400-meter long hurdles. Now, this was probably early on when they posted these odds. This is minus 1,400. By the time I got on and looked at it on DraftKings, it was minus 10,000. So I think,
damn,
if she won, you was only gonna stand to make. I mean, her winning, you only profited, $100. You're gonna risk 10,000 if she would hit a hurdle, fall, anything. That was this is 1,400 on the other ones that said maybe minus 4,000 on FanDuel. This is a bet that I would not have taken. If anybody wants to bet on track and field, never ever ever take a bet on Sydney McLaughlin running the hurdles. The reason why is the potential reward is so low that it would not be worth your time, energy, or effort. And the other reason why is if she hits a hurdle, then it's a wrap. Even though she has a 99% chance of winning, she's the hurdle, pulls a hamstring, does anything in the middle of that race.
Honestly though, with you gotta think about it. If she go out there and run 51 seconds and hit a hurdle, she fall, get up. I think she can go 52 high.
She may not get up.
I don't think
she psychologically got it. She won't get up. She's gonna lay there, cry, and do the white girl thing, the mixed girl thing, cry and ask for sympathy.
Good point.
So that's the difference. She not gonna get up. You think she gonna get up?
Yeah. After I thought about it, nah, hell no. She ain't
exactly. Do not bet on Sydney McLaughlin, y'all. In the 400 meter hurdles, never ever bet. If you want to lose money, if you want to donate money, take your money and donate $100 to the United Negro College Fund, because the mine's a terrible thing to waste. Do not use that same money to bet on Sydney McLaughlin, because that's going to be a DOA operation for you. Because she is going to make you risk your money with very, 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 very little potential reward, and that's just clear as day.
True.
That's just clear as day. So let me see. And she ended up winning, of course. Let me show y'all what she ended up doing.
Somebody said Dina Ashton-Smith was a good underdog pick. Definitely
what?
not.
No, hell no.
Definitely not.
Hell no. No, she wasn't. She was a type of pick that you'd be like, nah, she hasn't shown herself to be in shape. When's the last she even got a medal?
2019, I think.
Yeah.
They wasn't even born back then.
Yeah. So she was a pick. Dalilah Muhammad was a pick, but it wouldn't been worth the odds. It wouldn't been worth the risk. Dalilah Muhammad is running 54 seconds in the open 400. I mean, in the 52 seconds in the open 400. What you think she gonna run in the 400 hurdles? let's keep it real, y'all. Let's make sure we understand this, because I don't want nobody to get it twisted to make it seem like, you know, this is a lot of these things are really in doubt when it comes to Sydney, when it comes to the hurdles.
Yeah,
she ran 52.76, as you can see on the screen right here, to win the 400 meter hurdles. Guess what the second place? Guess what she won to win the 400 meter hurdles? 52.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Guess what? I'm sorry. I got it twisted. She ran 52.7 to win the 400 meter hurdles. Guess what people ran behind her in the open 400? In the open 400. 52. No, 52.0. 52.0 or something. It was like Dalilah or somebody. My point is, this was a no-brainer. This was something I would have never, ever, 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 ever bet on, unless the casino say, "Hey man, you could bring $1 billion, and when you bring your $1 billion, you'll win $1 billion." I mean, you could win like 10% or something like that, or even 1%. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll take that. But if you're only betting $1,000 and going to win $10 profit if she wins, no, it's not worth it at all. As a matter of fact, I didn't even think twice about that, unless it's included part of a parlay where I can increase my odds. It's like, okay, well, I'll add Sydney on there on a parlay, and they'll just increase it by just a little bit, my odds. But
yeah,
I definitely wouldn't have did that. As a matter of fact, if anybody is crazy enough to bet on her, good luck to you, and I hope that you find something to do in life that, you know, that's really like, you know, that you could spend your money on, because it wouldn't be worth it. It's definitely not worth it. So the next one, let's go to the next one, because I got these other parlays on here that was okay. So let me see. Now, which one did I do? Did I do the women's 200 already?
Yeah, you already did the women's too.
Okay, so that was the long stuff. That was the other one. That was for the 2-4 group though, and which I appreciated. I appreciated the fact that Gabby Thomas did the longs, where she didn't do the short one. I feel like there should be some changes, because they didn't say Sydney is going to the 400 hurdles group. She said she may switch it up a little bit. I think she's going to duck and dodge.
Bro, they dropped the schedule. It says for the next meet, she doing the 4 and 400 hurdles again. And then she's gonna do somebody posted that shit. She doing the 4 and 400 hurdles again, and then she gonna end up doing like the 100 and then the 100 hurdles.
Yeah, anything to avoid killers, get the easy money. Well, we know.
And I think the very last one, they had put her on there for the 400 and the 200.
Right. Right, protect the mixed girl. We know. So look, this is the women's short sprints, 200 meters. Jenna Prandini was the favorite, even though she was a late addition. They still put the white girl as the favorite, which, according to people's resumes in the 200, other than Tamara Clark, did you agree with this? And Daryl Needham, did you agree with this?
Yeah, and she
Who
just
would you
ran.
bet on?
What's her girl named Melissa?
You would bet on Melissa?
Yeah.
Why? She has no top end speed. She has no knee lift. She's a traditional 11-1 chick. Why would you bet on a chick that has no 200-meter credentials?
Yeah, but Jenna, she an 11-1 chick, and she ain't ran good in the 2 shit since Boat was running. So I know Melissa, if she can run 10,
she ran good in 2021. You don't say she ran decent in the 2. 2022, she ran decent.
like
She made the Olympic team in the 100 and 200.
Yeah, but she ran like 22 something. And it's early.
Who in this race that you felt like could have ran? They could run under 22 something this week.
No, I didn't think no one was going to run under. I thought the winning time would be like 22.3, 22.4. So I said Melissa Jefferson can run that.
You didn't think Jenna Prandini could run that after running 11-1 and 100?
Yeah, I mean Jenna Prandini ran the 2. Like she ran like 22.0 at Texas Relays with like a little win. But it's like she be dying at the end of the race. Like she runs a good 150. And I was like, Melissa probably can hold on stronger than her.
So you would bet on. So your money would have been on Melissa.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jenna Prandini was plus 160, y'all. Plus 160. I would have put my money on Jenna Prandini, and I would have put my money on Tamara Clark if I had my odds. If I'd had the choice. Daryl Nita, she represents Great Britain. I'm not a big fan of Great Britain sprinters on the male or female side because they always come off as soft to me.
Yeah,
they always come off as soft to me. They never compete well for real in a championship setting. Isn't Daryl Nita the one that Sha'Carri Richardson looked at when she was running the anchor leg?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was Daryl Nita, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah. So you would have bet on Melissa Jefferson. If you would have bet $1,000 on Melissa Jefferson, you would have won a $5,000 profit. That would have been reasonable, I feel like. But I would have had to cover more bets. I would have had to cover Tamara, Daryl Nita, Jenna Prandini, and Prandini.
No, I feel like the only 2 I would have even bet on was probably Prandini and Melissa.
Got to cover Tamara too, bro. Got to cover Tamara. You got it. Didn't Tamara like damn near make the team last year in the 100 and 200?
I don't know, but I know she ain't really looked too good since like 2021. She runs with like Gabby and them group though, but she rolled. She probably need to run a 400, honestly.
Well, what ended up happening was in that particular race, Melissa Jefferson won 23:46, a horrible time. Many high school girls can run that time. This was not nothing impressive. The win was negative 4.7, as y'all can see. So that was really like understandable as far as the why what happened.
Yeah.
Jenna Prandini 23:56. Sears, I was surprised Sears ran 23:79. I thought she would have, ran a lot slower than that. Well, it was to a big win. It was 23. Can't get much slower for pros, especially. Tamara Clark did not sign. This is another thing to me that bothered me. Tamara Clark didn't sign. So it's like, it's horrible. Britain Canadians are similar at being low achievers. I agree. That's definitely right, Specto. Tamara Clark did not sign. That bothered me because I actually had her on a few of my parlays. The fact that she didn't show up automatically made my parlay lose. And I think that's something they need to do. They need to give people their money back if a person does not sign for the race. That is completely ridiculous. And I feel like that's the thing that track and field, Grand Slam track and any track and field meet needs to fix. As a matter of fact, they don't have the issue at the World Championships or Olympics because last year I bet on Shelly Ann. I thought Shelly Ann was going to come through and maybe get a bronze medal. And when she did not sign for, I think it was her semifinal, they gave my money back. They gave my money back, which I appreciated. They gave my money back. So they definitely need to, Grand Slam track definitely needs to make sure that the start lists are up to date and that people are not being cheated out of their money, because that's definitely wrong to have people
Yeah.
put that money out there and they can't even get what they're supposed to get based on whatever. So next, the men's 800. Who would you put your bet on? Emmanuel was minus 3.
I put money on this one. I bet on Marco A-Rod.
That's plus 500. So you bet 1,000. If you bet $1,000, you'd have won made a $5,000 profit.
Yeah, because them boys
Why
both
would you bet on A-Rod?
They went top 3 in the 8 at the Olympics, and they light years ahead of everybody else anyway. Like these guys are 141 low guys, and they're just better than those guys. And Wyoming Emmanuel, he slid crazy in the 1,500. So I know coming back running from, and he's a little guy too. So having to do all that in the 15 and you don't even run the 1,500 and he actually winning it, coming back in the 800, the guy who sat back and got 7th place, who really didn't even give it no effort, I got him in the 8. And he's a 141 guy. I got him over the rest of them guys.
That makes sense. That definitely makes sense.
And he won it too. And he won it by a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense. As a matter of fact, he did win it by a lot. He won it by almost a second and a half. So when everything came out, if you'd have bet on him, you definitely would have made it. He ran 145, won by almost a second and a half, and was a plus 500 dude. Definitely can't complain about him.
Yeah.
Definitely can't complain about him. That was a big come up. Actually, if you had him on a parlay with some other shoots, woo boy, you would have been coming up on that.
Yeah.
You definitely would have come up on that. What about the men's 3,000? Did you think about that?
Yeah, I lost that one horribly. It's just like these Americans, they just so trash. They just do the bare minimum. I had bet on Grant Fisher, and this nigga went out there, got like 3rd, 4th place.
Why you bet on Grant Fisher?
Because I seen him double at the Olympics. He got a bronze in the 10,000 and the 5,000. I seen him win the 5,000 here. I'm like, damn, he ain't even doing the 10,000. He's doing the 3,000. He should be able to come back and recover and win this too. Man, he got rolled.
Well, Grant Fisher, his odds was minus 180. So you didn't. If you would have bet on him,
but I had him on a parlay.
A lot of money, no way.
I had him on a parlay.
Oh, but Hagos was plus 430. 430, bro.
I don't even know who that is though.
Oh man. Well, if you would have bet on him, you would have made $4,300 if you would bet $1,000 on Hagos.
See, and it's crazy because I had a parlay with Marco A-Rod, Nasser, but Grant Fisher sold it in the 3K. He sold my parlay, and that shit pissed me off.
Well, it happens. So what about the men's 100 meter, the men's 100 meters for the hurdles? Because that was the next one that was up on the list.
Yeah, and I don't know, because like I feel like all those guys slow, and that's the reason they do hurdles to begin with. So it was just like I don't know, like who would even. I was like probably Cordell Tinch, because I seen him run like open races in college, and he was like pretty fast. So I probably would have bet on him actually. And he has the worst odds.
And he plus 2,900 on here.
Yep.
So when the man plus 2,900, if you bet on him, you would have won. If you bet $1,000 on him, and he's plus 2,900, that means you bet $1,000 and he's plus 2,900. You would have won $29,000.
Damn.
$29,000 if he would have came out and won. Omar McLeod's the only guy on there that's ever went sub 10. I would have definitely bet on Omar because I felt like he was going to win.
That shit was like 2016 though.
I know, man.
That's like betting on Johan. I think Cordell, I'm telling you, bro, Cordell Tinch is fast. I think the only reason he didn't, I don't even know what place he got, but I feel like the only reason he didn't win is because that win was so strong and he's just so damn skinny. So like he probably gonna be able to hold his form through that strong win, like a guy who's like stronger.
Yeah, so you say with a strong, you can't control the wind, so you already know what time it is in the meets. The meets in the windy place, like that meet in Bermuda, they always got a negative 5-point win. And
yeah, but I ain't never seen Jamaica with no negative headwinds like this.
Well, this how it turned out. The Sasha guy from France ran 10:55, and Sasha had what was his odds? His odds were plus 600. So you bet $1,000 on him, and you would have won $6,000. And he ended up winning by 1/10 of a second. So negative 2.0 win. And who you say?
Tenth.
Cordell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he lost by 10. Dude one had a nice little lead.
Yeah.
Dude had a nice little lead. So yeah, that would have went horribly, horribly bad. I gotta find a way to get more parlays in, man, before the thing coming. Because I feel like them dollar, I just want one of my dollar parlays to come through. Or I'm sorry, 10 cent parlays.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Because when them underdogs win like that, that's like, man, I need a parlay to just. I need a plus 500 with a plus 400 with a plus 3,000 with a plus. Boy, I need one of them bugs to hit. Boy, I'm gonna post that bug ticket so quick. You ain't gonna know what hit you.
No cap.
So what about this one right here, the women's 5,000? What would you have bet on? Who would you bet on the women's 5,000? Right here, they got, Tay and all these other people, names I can't pronounce.
I think the girl in 3, the third girl, I think I've like seen her run. So just off familiarity, I would have probably went with her.
Plus 650 though. You would have got Richard Dye trying to get that because Tay, the favorite, minus 195, ended up winning.
Yeah, I think she actually won both.
She did, but the problem is, you would have bet if you would have bet $1,000 on her, you would have been only potentially going to win $512.82. So I don't know if that would have been worth the risk. In my opinion, it's man, especially with people sitting back and kicking. Look, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't really want to bet on distance races at all.
Yeah, me either.
Because these guys run so slow. And Rabbit is all for money. So all they gonna do, is sit back and say, hey, I'll kick these dudes. I've been doing some good, decent work. And I'm gonna wait and kick back and try to do a 55-second last lap.
Yeah.
And take all the sting out their legs in that first 200. On that last lap. So I wouldn't have bet on that. I definitely, unless it was a part of a parlay. We went over to Santos already. This right here is what really pissed me off.
Oh my God.
The women's 100-meter short hurdles, 100-meter race. What you think?
I thought the only reason.
Hold up, before you say anything, we had a Karen Nugent on there talking about she's the fastest hurdler and all this other stuff. None of these other 100-meter girls who run 100-meter hurdle girls who run open 100 can mess with her.
Yeah. I thought that reasonable picks were Nugent. I didn't know the other Jamaican girl. Oh, yes, I did, because she ended up winning. I don't know if it was a Diamond League meet or Worlds not too long ago. And yeah, but I mean, they're Jamaican, so they come from like a sprinting background. So I would have voted. I probably would have went with Nugent.
Yeah. So would I. But I definitely would have covered, and I did cover. I put on Jasmine Camacho Quinn, who I know is ran 11.2. Jasmine Camacho Quinn has also ran 22.2.
Yeah.
Danielle Williams. I covered all those. And Masai Russell ran like a win at 11, I think 1 or 11.2 last week, but I still didn't trust it.
Yeah.
Based on what she did in the hurdles. So I would put my money on Nugent and Danielle Williams, which I did for Danielle Williams. I was able to win. And I put Danielle Williams as part of a parlay that I end up not winning. Tia Jones was in that race. And I got something to say about Tia Jones. Why? Why would you not bet on Tia Jones when she got a 100-meter PR from like 10 years ago of like 12, like 2 or something like that?
Why wouldn't I?
Yes.
Why would I?
She won the hurdles.
Yeah, but if she running 12 seconds, you already know it's the graveyard. If you running 12 seconds, nah, hell no. Motherfuckers running 12 seconds in the hurdles.
Right. But I think that win was kind of hard on that. If you look at the final,
and look, she got like dead last.
Yeah,
that's the reason she didn't get the 100,000. If she would have got like 6 or 7, she would have got it. She performed horribly.
Yeah, she did. Actually, let me say this also about Tia Jones. Because this is something that they need to definitely fix, guys. And I don't want nobody to get it twisted. I feel like it's BS. Tia Jones is not listed on the start list for the women's.
Yes.
For the original women's 100-meter hurdles. So to have a race with these killers, Jasmine Camacho Quinn, Masai Russell, Nugent, Williams, and not tell the public that Tia Jones, who was the world indoor record holder in the 60-meter hurdles, that's going to be there. I think that's a scam. So they are on some BS as far as they go. They need to be very, very vigilant to make sure they update start list and the public knows before we put our bets in who is going to be in the race. To me, they'll be like we're having a 100-meter race, and then adding Christian Coleman in at the last second. Well, because even though Christian Coleman may not be who he used to be, he still is a great starter. He's a world indoor champion in the 60. He has the world record in the 60. Yeah. So if you're running the 100 outdoors, you should not say, okay, well, we added Christian Coleman in, but he's not going to be on the betting list. He's not going to be on any start list, and we're not going to tell anybody. And once you put your bet in, you can't go back in and change it. That's the ripoff. That's a ripoff to the people, to the fans. So you can't be doing it. The public needs to know who's in races. That's another thing Grand Slam track can do. They need to make sure they let the public know who is in these races. So in this 100, Tia Jones ended up getting 6. So that's why she could have got like 4. She had 12 points from the hurdles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who ended up winning? Jasmine? Did Jasmine end up winning the 100?
No. The 100.
Who won the 100,000?
Oh no, Williams. She won.
Oh, that's right, because she won it right. She got 12. What did she get in the 100 hurdles? Like 30?
I'm not sure. Probably like top 3, I think.
Okay, yeah. So that 12 points put her over the top. Akira Nugent, I would have definitely put, to do better. I don't know why she let old girl win. They had a 3.4 win. The bottom line here is Tia Jones ran 12-2. She definitely was not listed as a favorite. They had her as plus 1,100. So if you put $1,000 on her, she would have won. You would have won $11,000 on top of your money. Now, Specto. Okay, Audrey Day said there's always strong headwinds in National Stadium to around 6-7 p.m. That's why times are slow when races are run in the mornings or early afternoon. Got you. But the bottom line is, this would have been a race I would have definitely bet on. I did bet on it. Danielle Williams and Jasmine Camacho Quinn and the Nugent were definitely bets that I would have that I feel like were reasonable to bet on. No matter what, I still would have made a nice profit just putting on, not doing it with a part of a parlay, but heads up. Nugent, Williams, and Camille Quinn for $1,000. Long as Williams or Quinn win, I'm definitely deep in the profit, or to make at least between $3,000 and $4,000 in profits, hands down on that particular race. So I was good with that. Some of the other stuff I don't have the tickets on as far as what it was before, so I'm just gonna show y'all actually who win and go off my memory on how things actually started. I mean, actually how things went. Now, for this one, for example, this is something I want to definitely mention. Tia Jones showing up and winning this negative 1.4 win, 12.63 in the 100-meter hurdles. Tia Jones, like I said a minute ago, she was not mentioned on the start list at all, and it was disrespectful to the fans, to everybody, to throw her in as a challenger at the last second. She beats Danielle Williams, who got second in this race. Of course, Danielle Williams also won the Open 100 for the hurdle girls and won the overall thing. Jasmine Camacho Quinn, who I definitely would have bet on, she was the favorite. Messiah Russell, favorite, did horribly. Nugent, fourth, did horribly.
Yeah.
Man,
Messiah was rolled as fuck.
Right. But I think they just showed them to get the money. It's a little cute. I'm already Olympic champion. I got a nice contract. I'm sure, it's life. Who would you have bet on, knowing what you knew then, not what you know now? No parlay.
Messiah or Nugent.
Reasonable. You would have crashed and burned. I don't have the odds on all of that, but wouldn't have mattered anyway because Tia Jones showed up and you could have bet on God, and Tia Jones would have showed up and won, and it would cheat you out your money. And that is something that I don't appreciate that they did. So they need to get it together. The next thing, what other race that we didn't cover? Sawa Eat Nasser, 400.
Yeah.
Sawa Eat Nasser was definitely a woman's underdog, was an underdog. And I told everybody and their mama, their grandmama, and their baby mama to bet on Sawa Eat Nasser. And she ended up beating the brakes off of Paulino and Gabby Thomas. Who would you have bet on that? I think you told me Paulino at first.
No, I told you Nasser, but I had like 2 parlays with Paulino just in case. But Nasser ran 48 last week, so that's stupid to not bet on Nasser.
So heads up, you tell me you would have bet on Nasser just straight up over Paulino.
Yes, right now,
How
yeah.
many times has Paulino got beat by Nasser before the other day?
Shit, I don't know. Probably unless she was in that race in 2019.
No, she wasn't in there.
Well, yeah, probably none.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely all my parlays, I picked Nasser. The reason why, and all my picks straight up, I picked Nasser, even though she was an underdog because she ran 48 last week. I'm telling y'all, when Nasser is healthy, guys, Nasser is hard to beat. She empties your lungs.
Yeah.
Nasser will make you empty your lungs. Nasser may only have a 22.5, 22.4 PR now, but Nasser's going to come through that first 200 in 23 flat, 23.1, 22.8 if she got to, 22.8 if she got to, 23.5. Those are speeds that women usually don't want to run at in the first 200 because they are scared what's going to happen. She's like a crocodile. I tell my wife this all the time. That's like a crocodile. She's going to drag you into those deep waters and when you're racing her. And you're not going to realize that you're in that deep of a water until you get off of that curve and you look at that last 100 meters and she's literally 6-7 meters out in front of you. She did it in 2019 when she was healthy against Shawnee Miller. She did it just the other day. That is her style. Now, it didn't work for her at the Olympics because I don't think she got her legs back up into her enough to really do it at the Olympics. Because the time that won the Olympics is the time that she ran before last year. But Nasser was my hands down favorite. I'm definitely gonna ride with her all year. Stone to rebuild or refuse, as will Nasser run 47 this season. I don't know. It's tough to say. Look, we need Femke Bol. We need Gabby Thomas. We need Sydney McLaughlin. We need Paulino. We need Shawnee Miller. We battle back at her prime. And we need Abby Steiner. Because I think Abby Steiner can go 40, 48, high, 49. In the same way.
You got other girls running 48, though. Like,
the Dutch girl. Do we have a Dutch girl or somebody?
Yeah,
or
Kazmarek from like Czech Republic or somewhere.
Yeah, right. The white girl.
Yeah, Kazmarek. You got I think.
Forgot about them. Oh, we got Nikisha Price. Oh, I'm tripping, man. Hold up.
Adela K.
I'm tripping, y'all. My bad. We don't need that. We could just go with who we got already. Oh yeah, the Price. Get them back on top.
Yeah.
If we could even use Britton Wilson if she get back. And Garen, because she had 49 low chip that's capable. Yeah. I'm tripping, y'all. My bad. And did some girl just go? The Arkansas girl just go like 49, like 2 or 1?
Yeah,
oh yeah. Listen, guys, the 400 meters is always been undeveloped to me because number one, a lot of people are afraid of getting embarrassed in that last 100. But when you got people really running at 85, 90% of their max that first 300 and then relying on their fitness for that last 100, that is what's going to change the event. That's what's going to make people come along and be like, wow, this has been a change, and these girls are going to go 48 high or lower all day long because now you're running that first 200 in 22.5s, 22.6, 22.3s maybe. You know what I'm saying? If your PR is 22 flat in the 200, I don't think there's no reason why you should be going over 22.3. I mean, 22.9 in your first 100, or your first 200, the 400.
Yeah.
Should be Leaky. No, Clover is definitely not going to be in there because she's trash. I think last year she may have did better, but she's not even thinking about going sub 49 right now. So when those girls start sliding, it's going to be on like a pot of neck bones. But my money on this was definitely on solid Nancy. And Paulino had no chance. She just ran 23 seconds. And it just wasn't going to happen for her. I 23 seconds to 200. I just didn't see her running 48 nothing. I knew Sawa was going to say, you know what? I'm going to send a message. And Sawa did right. Stacey Ann Williams, I like her. Talitha Diggs got 7. That was normal. 52 seconds. She's embarrassed. And this is another thing about your girl, Sydney. Sydney should have been in this race.
Exactly.
No reason why Sydney should have been in this race. Michael Johnson is pandering to the light-skinned agenda they got for Sydney McLaughlin to protect the mixed light-skinned girl. No reason Sydney should not have been in this race. I think she of course she ran against some trash 400 meter. Look, matter of fact, let me show y'all this. Last place in this race was 52.15. That's what got second place in Sydney's race. Y'all get it? Sydney ran what? What did she run? 50 point what?
50.
What did she run? 50.32. Had Sydney been in this race, she would have got 5th.
Damn.
She'd been fighting for 5th in this exact same race. And she ran at the same time in this race. I'm gonna be honest, I think she would have ran even worse than that. Because once she came off that curve, in the words of the great Noah Lyles, once she came off that curve and saw Saul eating ass so far apart, so far away.
And she gonna be
depressed.
depressed.
She would have been depressed. She would have been depressed. So that's what would happen. I'm being honest. But I think Sydney, knowing what she knows and look at how she ran at that one race when she lost to Paulino, I think Sydney probably would have went out fast too to see, hey man, I'm gonna try to get out there with this girl. But with Sydney being able to hold on with that lactic acid at that 350 meter mark, because she buckled in 20, and when she ran against Paulino, how you can see the body break down because putting that lactic acid at that type of speed is different.
Facts.
So I think Sydney would have got rolled on. I think she probably would have went out, crashed and burned. I think that's why she has consistently avoided running against top talent in the 400. They want to protect her light-skinned mixed.
I agree.
All day, every day. So that's the thing. Michael Johnson needs to do treat it like it's the UFC, not like it's boxing. Track and field right now is a lot like boxing. There's a lot of dodging. There's a lot of, I'm gonna pick and choose. I'm gonna be a weight bully. Sydney McLaughlin to me is a weight bully. Sydney McLaughlin is a heavyweight Mike Tyson, been a heavyweight champion of the world, and then coming down and saying, you know, I want to fight middleweight or I want to fight cruiserweight. Like, damn, you knocking guys out of heavyweight. Okay, won't you step and fight some people in your weight class? That's what she's doing. The 400-meter hurdles, as I always say, is this graveyard for sprinters. This is where people go to die before their careers die. Because most of the 400-meter hurdlers, look at how they perform in individual events other than hurdles. They're horrible. You know, and I don't care how far back you go. When I saw Irina Pabalova, who was the indoor world record holder in the 60, white chick, she has a 690, 2 PR in the 60. She's run 22-1 indoors or 22-0 indoors in the 200. She has a 21-7 outdoor PR in the 200. She has a 49-second open 400-meter PR. All her times are great. Guess what? She has no Olympic or World Championship gold medals.
Damn.
She got her first gold medal when she moved in 1 year. In 1 year, she moved to the 400-meter hurdles in the year 2000, got her Olympic gold medal, and ran 53 seconds low at the Olympics in Sydney. That show how weak that event is. So that's why I would never believe and have faith in Sydney McLaughlin. I know it's all a scam to try to fool the public, make it seem like she's just a hell of a chick. It's very likely she would have come away with a bronze medal at best individually at the Olympics last year had she ran the 400.
Facts.
And I believe that this is all just a ploy to make us hype up a mixed chick over everybody else. That's what you got to compare boxing to track and field, because that's how a lot of the dodging is, Specto. That's how the dodging is. Think about it. They pick and choose. Say the same thing about Floyd Mayweather. He ducked and dodged. They say the same thing about a lot of guys. They duck and dodge. Matchups that should happen in track and field are like boxing. Matchups end up not happening. There's no reason why we have not seen Gabby Thomas, Bowl, Steiner, and the rest of these chicks in the indoor 300. Just to make sure, so the fans could love it. That's what I'm saying. Picking favorites in track and field is a long-term losing strategy. Yes, picking favorites definitely is, because most of the time the favorites do not win in track and field. That is a hands down. Granted, City need to go run with the big boys and big girls, lead on hurdles alone. Grant, I think Grant talk about he split 45 and all that, split 44 and
43.
43. I mean, I gotta see, won't he run the 100 then? I think that's a reasonable thing where he don't have to go too far away from his training.
I don't think he's fast enough. I'm gonna be honest with you.
200 then. Alan Johnson was a hurdler, a great hurdler. He ran a lot of 200s. So I mean, Terrence Trammell was a great. He ran like 10-0. He ran 6'4" in the 60. Terrence Trammell. Do you research on Terrence Trammell? So there's a lot more there that these guys can do. Are you still streaming on Instagram?
Yeah, I believe so.
Your Instagram is about to end. It don't last for an hour. We've been on for 59 minutes. I was about to end it. But everybody, Mr. 100K a day, join to cover these races for y'all, man. Just to show y'all how the best went, how much of a scam it was or was not, and how much money you could have won. Till next time, guys, we're going to keep putting these things out here, and making sure that y'all understand that you can make money or not make money betting on track and field Grand Slam. Till next time, y'all. Peace. You off Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that ended. So y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and end it now. Anything else you want to say, Aaron, before we go? Can some real niggas beat Gabby already? Can some real? Yeah, they can. Anything else you want to say about this before we go?
Nah, man, y'all just stay tuned. Come get these. Come get this real betting knowledge when it comes to track and field.
Most definitely.
And don't be no fool, man.
Yeah, don't be greedy and just be careful and make sure if you really want to get some knowledge, reach out to Aaron, reach out to me. We'll try to at least guide y'all how to bet on track and field because it's a relatively new concept and you got to be careful because these underdogs come out of nowhere and will take your money and run.
Facts.
You miss a lot of money too by leaving these underdogs out. So it's definitely something that you make sure that you really that you need to do in the course of all of this. Just make sure you stay tuned to us. Matter of fact, Aaron, you need to make sure you post your link, your in your video, in this video, for your referrals. You can use his referral link to join, to sign up, FanDuel, whatever, Bet Rivers. Did you sign up for Bet Rivers?
Not yet.
All your links. Yeah, links, FanDuel, DraftKings, all of them. And then go from there. Clip, Stone Rebuilder. Till next time, y'all. Listen to this song on my way out. Peace, y'all.
Bitch, I make 100,000 every day. Bitch, I got 100,000 every day. I can count 100,000 every day. Every day. Put that bitch on every day. Bitch, I make 100,000.